The year is 1912. A ship unlike any other is about to begin its journey. Titanic, a floating palace of steel and dreams, sails from Southampton, carrying the hopes of more than 2,000 souls. Among them, a poor artist named Jack, and a young woman named Rose, bound by society but longing for freedom. As the ship glides into the Atlantic, laughter and music fill the decks, but behind the glamour lies a fate no one could imagine. The night grows colder, the stars shine brighter, and the world's most luxurious vessel moves steadily toward history's greatest tragedy. This is not just a story of a ship. It is a story of love, destiny, and survival. And it all begins, right here, on the RMS Titanic. Follow, subscribe, and press bell icon for more videos. Comments below what's your point about Titanic. In 1912, the world's largest and most luxurious ship prepared for its maiden voyage. The Titanic, a marvel of engineering, was more than just a vessel, it was a symbol of human ambition. Lavish interiors, grand staircases, and golden chandeliers reflected the wealth of the upper class, while thousands of hopeful immigrants filled the lower decks with dreams of a better life in America. Among these passengers was Rose, a young woman trapped by societal expectations, and Jack, a free-spirited artist who had won his ticket in a game of chance. Two lives from completely different worlds unknowingly boarded the same ship, destined for a fate neither could imagine. The Titanic departed from Southampton with excitement filling the air. Families waved from the docks, lovers embraced, and passengers marveled at the ship's size and beauty. It was said to be unsinkable, a ship that no storm, no ocean, could bring down. But the vast Atlantic stretched endlessly before them, hiding dangers in its icy waters. As the Titanic sailed forward, Rose felt suffocated by the life chosen for her, while Jack roamed freely, sketching the people and places that caught his eye. Neither knew that their meeting would spark a love story powerful enough to be remembered for generations. The ship pressed further into the ocean, its lights glowing like a floating city under the night sky. The passengers celebrated, unaware that destiny had already written a tragic end. And as Titanic's engines roared into the darkness, the stage was set for a story of love, survival, and loss. But the true test of this mighty ship, and those aboard it, was yet to come. Life aboard Titanic was a blend of luxury and hardship. In the first-class dining rooms, the wealthy dined on fine cuisine, dressed in jewels and silk. Meanwhile, in the lower decks, laughter and music echoed from lively gatherings where passengers danced with simple joy, celebrating the journey itself. Rose, however, felt trapped within the walls of privilege. Her engagement to Cal, a wealthy but controlling man, weighed heavily on her spirit. Standing at the edge of despair, she considered ending it all. But fate intervened when Jack saw her, reaching out with genuine care, saving her from herself. From that moment, an unlikely bond began. Jack's world was full of freedom, adventure, and passion, so different from Rose's suffocating reality. He showed her the beauty of living without fear, of embracing every fleeting moment. Together, they crossed barriers of class and expectation, daring to feel what others would never understand. As days passed, their connection deepened. Rose laughed freely in Jack's company, her spirit awakening in ways she had never imagined. He sketched her with the eyes of an artist, capturing not just her beauty but her soul. For the first time, Rose saw herself not as property, not as a bride-to-be, but as a woman who could choose her own destiny. Yet shadows lingered. Cal's suspicion grew, and whispers of impropriety threatened to tear them apart. The Titanic sailed on, oblivious to the storm brewing within its walls. And while Jack and Rose held onto each other in secret, danger loomed closer than either could see. Because far ahead, an iceberg waited, silent and immovable, ready to change everything forever. April 14, 1912. The night was clear, the sea eerily calm, and the stars glittered above the Titanic. On the bridge, crew members scanned the horizon, yet danger lay hidden in the darkness. A massive iceberg drifted silently, directly in the ship's path. At 11:40 p.m., it happened. The Titanic collided with the iceberg, steel tearing like paper. The sound was faint to many passengers, just a shudder through the decks. But deep below, water rushed in, flooding the compartments. Panic had not yet spread, but the truth was undeniable: the unsinkable ship was fatally wounded. At first, passengers continued their celebrations, unaware of the growing crisis. Crew members assured them all was well, while officers quietly worked to prepare lifeboats. But as the minutes passed, the reality became clear: the Titanic was sinking. Not slowly, not eventually, it was happening now. Rose and Jack, caught between love and survival, realized that their time was slipping away. Cal, desperate to keep control, tried to separate them, but the disaster unfolding around them was far greater than any human quarrel. The ship, this floating palace, was dying. The great Titanic began to tilt, its bow sinking deeper into the icy Atlantic. Lifeboats were lowered, but there were not enough for everyone. The cries of children and mothers filled the night, the chaos growing as fear spread like fire. Still, many refused to believe the ship could fall. But it had begun, and there was no turning back. The Titanic was on her way to the ocean floor, and all aboard faced the fight of their lives. The order was given: women and children first. Families were torn apart as lifeboats filled quickly, some half-empty, others crammed to capacity. The wealthy were prioritized, while many in the lower decks were trapped by locked gates and confusion, struggling to find escape. Jack and Rose fought desperately to stay together. Amid the chaos, they pushed through crowds, helping others where they could. The freezing air stung their faces, the deck slanted further with every passing minute. Fear had become a living presence, gripping every heart. The ship's lights flickered as the Titanic groaned under the weight of its wounds. Musicians continued to play, their haunting music drifting across the night as if to comfort those facing the inevitable. It was an image of beauty amid horror, one that would never be forgotten. As the stern lifted high into the air, the ship's final moments arrived. The once mighty Titanic broke apart, its steel body splitting under the crushing force. Screams filled the night as thousands were thrown into the freezing sea, clinging to wreckage, fighting to live another second. Through it all, Jack and Rose refused to let go of each other. Their love had bloomed in days, yet it burned brighter than a lifetime. In the face of death, they found courage, holding on against impossible odds. But the ocean was merciless, and its icy grip was stronger than love alone could fight. The Titanic was gone. The great ship that had carried over 2,000 souls now lay shattered at the bottom of the Atlantic. Above, the survivors floated in lifeboats, shivering, waiting for rescue. But the sea was filled with voices, pleas, cries, and silence, as life faded into the icy darkness. Rose, clinging to a piece of debris, held Jack's hand as he urged her to survive. He gave her strength, even as the cold began to claim him. His love became her anchor, his words a promise that she must live on. And when dawn broke, rescue ships arrived to find only a fraction of those who had sailed on the mighty Titanic. Jack was gone, but his sacrifice ensured Rose's survival. With trembling hands, she whispered her vow and let him slip into the sea, forever bound by memory. She was pulled onto a lifeboat, the last strength of her body carrying her through, as the Carpathia loomed in the distance. Years later, Rose remembered. The necklace, the sketch, the moments they shared, fragments of a love that could never be erased. Though time moved forward, the story of Jack and Rose remained eternal, etched into her heart and into history itself. The Titanic was more than a ship. It was a dream, a tragedy, and a reminder of the fragile line between human ambition and nature's power. And above all, it was the stage for a love story that defied class, defied fear, and outlived death itself. And so, the story of Titanic lives on, not just as history, but as a tale of love, sacrifice, and the courage to survive against all odds.